In 2021, sources within the palace revealed that King Rama X might take advantage of Thailand's severe COVID-19 to flee again. Journalists discovered he had already escaped to his happy home in Bavaria, Germany. Images of him living a life of excess with his harem in Germany are expected to emerge soon. Meanwhile, his mysterious deposed princess's daughter will attend the late King Bhumibol's anniversary of death alongside her stepmother and concubines, promising more dramatic moments to come. In 2020, King Rama X flew to Bavaria with 20 of his concubines for a vacation, turning a local 4-star hotel into his palace. The hotel was filled with antiques and jewelry he brought with him, showing that he cared little for the suffering of the Thai people as he sought to escape Thailand. After the Thai people eagerly awaited his return, he participated in a few light activities before once again falling silent. Especially during the second wave of the pandemic in 2021, when Thailand was hit hardest, he began plotting to pack his bags and flee again. As for Thailand, he couldn't stay a single day longer. On November 8, 2021, as Thailand's average daily COVID-19 cases reached nearly 8,000, reporters discovered that King Rama X had boarded Thai Airways flight TH924, a flight notorious for its corruption scandals, and flew directly from Bangkok to Munich. Some might wonder why he didn't take a private jet. However, when the plane landed at the German airport on the morning of November 8, reporters understood why. According to Thai royal correspondent Andrew Marshall, the king was accompanied by quite several staff. His youngest son, Dipankorn, born to the deposed Princess Srirasmi, also arrived in Germany, where he would live in a villa in Feldafing and continue his studies. Since King Rama X took half of the royal family with him, a private jet simply wasn't big enough, so he chartered a commercial airliner instead. Reporters suggested that this time, with the king fleeing with his entire entourage, he might not return to Thailand for a long time. Originally, at the end of the month, there was to be a grand ceremony for the dressing of the Emerald Buddha, a historic event with over 200 years of tradition. Only the monarch has the right to dress the Emerald Buddha in a glittering robe, praying for good weather, prosperity, and the well-being of the nation. With the king's departure, no one was left to dress the Emerald Buddha, which caused considerable anxiety among the devout public. However, the king seemed rather unconcerned, as this task would likely be delegated to the president of the Privy Council. After all, he was just going on vacation. But this time, his retreat in Germany wouldn't be as carefree as last time, because December 5th, the anniversary of the late King Bhumibol's death, was approaching. The Navathama Pawan Temple in Thailand would hold a memorial ceremony. It was the anniversary of his own father's passing, and he couldn't afford to skip it. He would likely make a brief return to Thailand for 2 days before resuming his extended holiday. It is worth noting that King Rama X and his daughter, Princess Sirivannavari, born to his deposed wife, will also attend the memorial ceremony for the late King Bhumibol after a long time apart. This princess, who has not been very prominent in Thailand, has quite a few intriguing stories. King Rama X had 7 children with 3 women, and Sirivannavari was the youngest of the 5 children he had with his second wife. She is also the late King Bhumibol's favorite grandchild. Sirivannavari grew up in the Thai palace with her 4 older brothers. The 4 brothers were sent to boarding schools in the UK at a young age, but the Playboy king quickly found a new lover and decisively abandoned his second wife and children. In 1996, when he was still the crown prince, King Rama X stripped his second wife, Yuvadhida, of her title as crown princess, citing her affair and theft of jewelry as the reasons. She was demoted to commoner status, and she, along with her 5 children, including the youngest daughter, was expelled from the country. This meant that the Thai royal family's vast fortune was completely out of their reach. In addition, King Rama X sent private detectives to spy on them, to prevent them from causing any trouble for him. Meanwhile, back in Thailand, he had Yuvadhida's relatives and friends arrested. Anyone who spoke in her defense was taken into custody. He also cancelled the tuition fees for his 4 sons and confiscated their Thai diplomatic passports, effectively turning them into refugees. In 1998, several of Yuvadhida's sons, in a state of desperation, wrote a letter to the Thai media. However, The letter was suppressed for 4 years before it was eventually revealed. In the letter, the king's sons accused their father of trying to erase them from reality and revealed that their mother, Yuvadhida, had never been loved or treated as a wife. Our mother lived in enslavement, and every time our father found a new lover, we would be kicked out of the house. Some may wonder, if the king expelled his wife and children from the country, why did his youngest daughter still retain her royal title and participate in royal events? This is where it gets intriguing. At the time, the children were studying in the UK, and King Rama X, under the pretext of visiting the UK, took his 9-year-old daughter back, restoring her title of princess. One reason was that the late King Bhumibol was fond of this granddaughter. The second reason was that the Thai throne only allowed male heirs, so Siravanavari's return posed no threat to his claim to the throne. Bringing her back also helped salvage his tarnished reputation. Logically, after being taken away from her mother and brothers, Sirivanavari, who had grown up with them, should have been desperate to return to her mother's side. However, to preserve her wealth and status, she severed all ties with her mother and brothers for 20 years, refusing to contact them. Relying on her father's vast fortune, she founded a clothing brand at the age of 17 and now moves into high society as a fashion designer, willingly attending events alongside her stepmother and father. The princess's third brother, over 20 years old, tried every possible way to contact his sister and father, but all messages were intercepted by the palace. According to investigative reporters, as a member of the royal family, Sirivanavari could have easily found a way to communicate with her mother and brother, but she chose not to. Her brother and mother later moved to the United States, where the third brother became an active doctor on social media. Unfortunately, in recent years, he was diagnosed with a life-threatening illness and is undergoing expensive chemotherapy. The drastically different lives, combined with the sisters' choice to remain indifferent to their father's cold attitude, have left Yuvadhida's family deeply disappointed. However, during the 2020 pandemic, there were several rumors about the Thai king being critically ill and almost dying, with some even speculating that he had contracted HIV. Coupled with his long history of excessive indulgence, his 70-year-old body is likely unable to withstand much longer. His recent appearance at the late king's memorial has prompted royal followers to start questioning the succession of the throne. Could the 4 dethroned princes make a return? The Thai king has 4 wives and has had 7 legitimate children with 3 of them. As for his illegitimate children, it's difficult to verify how many there are. His first wife, whom he was arranged to marry, was Somsawali, and she gave birth to the eldest princess, Budra Kitiaba. Although Princess Budra Kitiaba is both a diplomat and a prosecutor, excelling academically and professionally, and has not been affected by inbreeding, she is unfortunately unable to inherit the throne. She now serves as a symbolic figure, accompanying her stepmother on trips with no pressure, helping to maintain the king's image. As mentioned earlier, the only child of the second wife who is still a royal member is Sirivanavari. She excelled in the sports that the late king enjoyed, such as sailing, equestrianism, and badminton. She regularly participates in international competitions, though her achievements have been limited to Southeast Asia, and her skill level is only average. At one point, her design brand was invited by the famous designer Balmain to showcase at Paris Fashion Week. That year, a YouTuber criticized her clothes as ugly, and she responded with a lawyer's letter warning the individual that she would sue for treason and demand the removal of the comment. This shows that ever since she was taken in by the Thai king, she has become well versed in the political tactics her father used against her mother. Whether her designs are ugly or not is up for debate, but Thai media constantly praises her fashion sense. However, after seeing her street style, I feel like I'll never understand fashion again. In any case, she is not in line to inherit the throne. Currently, the default heir apparent in Thailand is Prince Dipankorn, the only son of the king's third wife, Srirasmi. Prince Dipankorn grew up with his mother, but when she was suddenly dethroned, he was forced to live with his father. However, unlike Sirivanavari, he wasn't fortunate enough to have his grandparents by his side. Soon after, the late king passed away, Queen Sirikit became paralyzed, and his maternal grandparents were in prison, leaving him essentially without any family. Following the king's usual methods, he should have deposed Srirasmi's child along with her, especially since Dipankarn is suspected of having autism and developmental delays, which the king is said to feel very ashamed of. However, the frightening rumor circulating is that the king might use this son's bone marrow or blood to treat his own HIV. A more plausible explanation is that the Thai king expelled all 4 of his sons, leaving the palace without a male heir. Unfortunately, by this point, the king's health had declined, and he was no longer able to father children. To secure a potential heir, he and his third wife used IVF to select the gender, bringing back the son who is suspected to have defects. However, to this day, the king has not officially held a succession ceremony for Prince Dipankarn. As the presumptive heir, he also has no supporters in the palace. Despite this, it's unlikely that the king will bring back his abandoned sons. They are middle-aged now and harbor deep resentment toward him. For the self-centered Thai king, the risk of bringing them back is far greater than letting the potentially disabled Prince Dipankarn inherit the throne. At present, everything is still uncertain, and Queen Sirikit continues to have her ideas. Sirikit has always longed to play the role of Empress Dowager Tsishi, wanting to make the Thai royal family her own, rather than being controlled by her husband or son. Her previous demand for the king to marry his cousin, followed by her role in promoting the current king, were both efforts to solidify her position in the court. Before Prince Dipankarn was born, Queen Sirikit repeatedly tried to place her relatives on the list of potential heirs to the throne. Although she superficially accepted Dipankarn, as long as she lives, there may still be behind-the-scenes manipulation. It is a possible future scenario that the Thai throne could end up in the hands of her so-called maternal relatives. As for the little son left behind by the Thai king, who no one seems to care about, during his escape to Germany, he will once again live in the German villa where he has spent much of his time, leading a caged bird life with a dozen or so servants, but no friends. Whether it's him, his 2 sisters, or his already exiled older brothers, they all know that their father is living nearby in his German palace, indulging in pleasure.